Have you ever met someone who seemed completely normal until one small moment changed the way you saw them forever? The scary part is, the human brain isn't always logical. It follows invisible psychological patterns that most people never notice. Some of these facts sound completely fake, but they're actually true. And the last one might completely change the way you look at people around you. Fact number 1. Your brain decides whether it trusts someone within seconds of meeting them. Before a single meaningful conversation happens, your subconscious has already started making judgments based on facial expressions, posture, tone of voice, and body language. First impressions aren't always accurate, but they're surprisingly difficult to change. Fact number 2. The more you see someone, the more likely you are to like them. Psychologists call this the mere exposure effect. Even if you barely interact with someone, simply seeing them repeatedly makes them feel more familiar. And familiarity often feels safe. That's why classmates, co-workers, or even strangers you see every day can slowly become people you trust. Fact number 3. People remember how you made them feel far longer than what you actually said. Years later, someone may completely forget your words, but they'll still remember whether they felt respected, embarrassed, appreciated, or ignored. Emotions leave deeper fingerprints than conversations ever do. Fact number 4. Confident people are often seen as smarter, even when they aren't. The human brain has a habit of confusing confidence with competence. Someone who speaks calmly and decisively can sound more convincing than someone with greater knowledge who constantly doubts themselves. Confidence changes perception, but it doesn't always reflect reality. Now here's where things become darker. Fact number 5. The harder something is to get, the more valuable it seems. Whether it's a limited product, a rare opportunity, or someone's attention, scarcity changes the way our brain values it. We often want things more simply because they're difficult to obtain, not because they're actually better. Fact number 6. People naturally search for evidence that proves they're already right. This is called confirmation bias. Once someone forms an opinion about you, they begin noticing only the actions that support that belief while ignoring everything that contradicts it. That's why changing someone's first impression is much harder than creating one. Fact number 7. You judge yourself by your intentions, but you judge other people by their actions. If you're late, you blame traffic. If someone else is late, you assume they're careless. The brain protects its own image while being far more critical of everyone else. Most people don't even realize they're doing it. And finally, fact number 8. The happiest looking people aren't always the happiest inside. A smile can hide anxiety. A joke can hide loneliness. Confidence can hide fear. Human emotions are far more complicated than appearances suggest. That's why assuming you know someone's story just by looking at them is one of the biggest psychological mistakes people make. So what's the darkest psychological fact of all? The human mind doesn't show us reality exactly as it is. It shows us a version filtered through emotions, assumptions, past experiences, and unconscious biases. Those mental shortcuts help us make quick decisions, but they also make us misunderstand people far more often than we'd like to admit. The next time you think you've completely figured someone out after just a few moments, remember this. The most dangerous illusion isn't believing someone else's lie. It's believing your own first impression is always the truth. Sometimes, the darkest psychological fact isn't about other people. It's about how your own mind quietly shapes the reality you think you see.